Hey guys. Hey guys, I'm just letting you know that these intro bits are completely ad-lib, which is why I always mess them up. Now I'm depressed. Let's watch an anime about depression. What happened here? Oh boy, what happened here? Where to even begin? I'll say this much, Sayonara Zetsubou Sensei is one of those anime where I wasn't quite sure how to react to. It was a premise so strange that any comments about it that I was told before watching it, I didn't really take seriously. Oh, but when that first episode began to roll, I was shocked. So enjoy this and try not to leave your jaw hanging open, or a fly's gonna fly in and give you disease, sickness. The anime was based off a manga of the same title by Koji Kumita, and was animated by Shaft in 2007. It has since spawned up more seasons and even OVAs, so for this review I'll be referring to the series as a whole, with more resources drawing from the first season of anime. This series is not plot orientated like the other anime I've reviewed, and as a result, it's gonna be handled a little differently. This review could even be as lost as the series initially seems to appear. We begin with Itoshiki Nozomu, a teacher with an extremely negative outlook on life. One day he commits suicide by hanging himself on a tree. Wait, what? Seriously? What the hell is this? We're at most 1 minute into the series and they're already killing off our protagonist? Wow. Forget about thrilling reveals and climactic story arcs. Look no further than freaking Shaft of 2007. His attempt at suicide is thwarted by one Fura Kafka, a high school girl who just so happens to be one of the students in his class. In contrast to Nozomu, she has an extremely positive outlook on life. And, well, that's it. Is this a build up to something more? Perhaps something involving the really climactic story arc? Again, there's no plot to speak of. You could liken it to other series like Lucky Star, but to me there's a lot more that's done in here that I don't think the other series would dare do. And this is what sets it apart from the rest of those just for laugh kind of anime. The series doesn't have much of the typical slice of life humor where it's more poking fun at character traits, and instead, it's more of the different characters sharing their views on different things about society or Japanese culture. Things like guilt tripping, issues of commercialization, celebrities overshadowing their relatives, social status, and even the media overhyping things are few of the many topics discussed. Sure, it makes use of parodies as well, while comical anime doesn't, but in this case, it's less of the parodies being about, I understand this reference, and is usually more cleverly executed. The humor in the series is well done, and is not just for passing laughs. In fact, at times it even leaves you something to think about. A lot more than I can say for, well, a lot of the other anime of this genre. However, if there's anything that sets this series apart from the other anime of its genre, it's the unique and strange cast of characters behind it. Let's begin with Zetsubou Sensei himself. He's not really anything like the other male teacher characters who are either super strict, old, or perverted. He's just, well, depressed. And unlike the series suggests, he's not just some big embodiment of angst and depression, he's actually a good teacher. Though I will admit his teaching practices are unorthodox if anything. He's done things like make his students write down dreams of theirs that are too unrealistic to ever come true, in an attempt to show them that life just isn't fair and you often don't get what you want. And it's not like he hates his students, but I believe this is an attempt by him to make his students understand that life just isn't fair, thus bringing his negative view on life into the mix. Speaking of his students, they are also distinctly different from any other slice of life series. Rather than having your typical tomboy, nerd, popular girl, each girl instead represents exaggerations of different social problems with Japanese society. Kitsuchiri is a person who wishes for everything to be in order, conforming, precise, and even, often, resorting to violence to make things this way. Komori-kiri is a hikikomori, or a shut-in, that refuses to go outside and stays indoors at all cost. Tsunetsuki Matoi is a stalker who will go to great lengths to keep beside her object of affection. Kobushi Abiru, a victim of domestic violence who is often seen covered in bandages. She also has a tail fetish for whatever reason. Otonashi Meru, a girl who communicates exclusively through email and text and appears to be a shy girl in real life, but in actual fact she's a rather nasty person. Kimura Kaire, a person with a split personality, one being of a refined Japanese lady and the other being a foreigner who is disgusted by all things Japanese. There are many more I could mention, but I think I'll cut it off there. All the characters aren't character types one would usually see in the high school setting, but considering the style of this anime, it's rather appropriate. While we're on the topic of visuals, I'll point out that in terms of animation, Shaft seems to have been taking some shortcuts. In fact, a lot of the shots are talking heads, and there's little movement utilized throughout the series. This, however, isn't inherently bad, as the series isn't in need of so much movement in the first place. I would even argue that this actually adds a stylistic feeling to the anime as a whole. Now to something I have a big problem with, the character designs. There's not much variety between them. Now I know people like to make jokes about anime characters all looking the same, but this series is a serious case. With the exception of the blonde-haired Kaire, who is identified by her blonde hair, all the characters look extremely similar. They all have the same face. I'm not kidding, I'm sure you can tell already by just looking at the series. I remember watching this, I often had times where I mistaken one character for another, or just straight up didn't know who was speaking. Now the soundtrack. It presents us with a lot of different styles. In fact, if you looked at the track names, they often mention the style of music they're imitating in the title. The OST was enjoyable to listen to, and there was a lot of variation in it. It would also be interesting to point out that, since this show is a parody show, it's very appropriate for the music to be parodies of different styles. The different tracks are parodies of different types of music, as well as specific classical music at times. It's a nice subtle touch, just the kind I enjoy. Zetsubou Sensei is a series that stands apart from its contemporaries due to the vastly different approach to the parody kind of series. Rather than running dry early on, like a lot of series do, Zetsubou Sensei manages to keep the laughs going for quite a while. It may not be a series for everyone, but if you enjoy humor about social issues and suicide, over humor about, say, talking about food, then dare I say this might be the series for you. And that concludes the most ad-libbed review I've ever done. I woke up and I just crawled over here with the blanket and then I started recording. So yeah. The series at times seems to make sense and then it doesn't seem to make sense. Yeah, I don't make any sense. I dare you say that! The anime is quite entertaining and if you're looking for a good laugh, I definitely recommend it. However, if you're looking for anime that has storyline or something like that, or you want some action, this is definitely not the anime for you. Anyway guys, thanks for watching me. As always, I really appreciate it. If you could press the subscribe button, which is down below, I would really appreciate it and stuff. And if you have other anime that you would like me to watch, I'd also appreciate that you let me know. I might even review some of them. That's all we have time for today. Actually, it's not. I have plenty of time. I'm just not going to record anything else because I'm lazy. And this is LOR signing off. Good night.